Thanks for listening to this episode. Welcome to Football and the Kitchen Sink. Get ready for in-depth conversation from the world of high school, college, and pro football, plus some insight about the rest of the world. All this, along with some fun and humor along the way. Pull up a chair, grab a coffee or a beer, and join us. It's Football and the Kitchen Sink. Here are your hosts, Coach Schuman and Coach DePascali.
Welcome, Football in the Kitchen Sink. We're back. We're talking NFL football today. We won't have my man Coach D on the line today. He's taking care of a couple things, but very soon he'll be back tomorrow. Welcome to Football in the Kitchen Sink. I am here to talk NFL football. What a day of football yesterday was. Some unbelievable football games and leading to the AFC Championship over the last, from the last 2 days of games. We'll go into each game one by one, discuss what I think were the difference makers in these games, and maybe at the end show you a little bit, a couple of clips of things that we thought were real big game changers. I'm Coach Schuman. If you have an opportunity, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. It all helps keep boosting this podcast up to bigger and better things. With Football and Kitchen Sink, we're fast growing. I think we reached in the top 300 of podcasts last week for Football in the Kitchen Sink, and hoping that we can continue to grow. I think last week, and I don't have Coach D with me, I was 4-0 on the picks for this past week as far as straight up, not talking about any points or anything. My son Troy was 3-1 on the day, and I think Coach D was 3-1 as well. So obviously each week, I think the week before, Coach D was the winner on the picks. I think what's going on, Raekwon? It's good to see you, bud. I think one of the things that was interesting about it, if you look at the quarterbacks that won, actually everybody who has a team get to this level now, all the quarterbacks are dynamic game changers, but obviously some things happen. So we'll go game by game and really discuss the biggest impact. But the biggest impact overall was the quarterback play. And in the NFL playoffs, it's amazing that when we get to, we'll talk about how the elder statesmen of the quarterbacks seem to have prevailed. Other than Mahomes, obviously Mahomes right now is probably the best quarterback in the NFL. But Josh Allen is emerging, and you can see that the best quarterbacks, the ones who are playing the best on the top of their game, I thought had a huge, huge impact on everything. And so first off, we'll go back to Saturday's game, which was the Packers and the Rams. Just some quick breakdowns. Both quarterbacks play well, but there was just no comparison for the dominance that Aaron Rodgers has had all season compared with Jared Goff. Now, Jared Goff obviously was kind of pressed into duty last week with that thumb injury and played well, 21-27 for 174, one touchdown. They had some good running game with Cam Akers rushing for 90 yards and a touchdown. And then they got some good receivers with Van Jefferson, Robert Woods, Josh Reynolds, all accounting for a total of 17 catches on the day. And they had some decent defense, but they couldn't shut down at all, especially in the second period, where the Packers really exploded. Aaron Rodgers, which was 23 of 36 for 296 on the day, just didn't look like he could do much wrong there. No interceptions, 2 touchdowns. The run game was super solid. And I think when you look at a Packers team that's won 14 games so far this year, I think it's important to understand that Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams and A.J. Dillon are combining for over 170 yards on just about, I think it's 32 carries, was the difference maker for setting up a passing game that was so efficient and so dynamic, with him getting the ball to a lot of different receivers, total of 6 different receivers getting the football. But the guys who really were Alan Lazard, Devontae Adams, obviously Devontae Adams, all pro, megastar, but guys like Robert Tanya Jr. having a huge impact, Marquez Valdes-Scantling having a huge impact, and then the defense led by Chris Barnes and Shannon Sullivan and Rashawn Gary out of New Jersey having a huge impact. He was one of our original back at, when he was in 8th grade. I have to tell a story, because when he was in 8th grade, I'd never seen someone at his size be able to do what he did. In 8th grade, he came and ran a 5.1040 at 6'3", 305 as an 8th grader. That, to this day, was one of the most impressive performances I've ever seen athletically, and that's no coincidence. He ended up going on to being an NFL player. He slimmed down, got himself rocked up, but what Aaron Rodgers is able to do, it's going to be tough to stop. His accuracy, his ability to throw to many, many different type of receivers at many different types of angles from a passing game standpoint, is just something that, you're not going to see, and it's going to be tough and it's going to be amazing, because Aaron Rodgers, and I'll check it out because I'm curious how old Aaron Rodgers actually is. I know he's in his 30s, late 30s, but how old? Aaron Rodgers, 37 years old. 37 years old. So you're going to have Aaron Rodgers against Tom Brady, 37 against 43. Aaron Rodgers is still at the top of his game. Tom Brady somehow has the ability to maintain that plateau at the top. It's hard to get better at 43, but it's how consistent he can end up being, which is just mind-blowing that he could stay at that highly consistent level that you would never think that someone could be able to do. It's just mind-blowing. So Aaron Rodgers, I mean, that was a huge part. And then it just seemed like the Rams, after being beat up and having some issues with injuries, they just couldn't keep pace with the Packers and that game. And we'll go and we'll pull up a little quick highlights for you here, and go to a couple of things that really look great. Share screen here with you. There we go. I think we could see that all here. Perfect. Okay.
The Rams lit up on first down. It is still in the game for the first.
Again, that inside zone run game that they ran all day long, play action pass. And I'm just going to kind of lower the sound here because we get zinged off that. Play action pass was a killer. The way that their receivers, as far as stretching the field here on 3 verticals, passes on a dime. If you notice, Aaron Rodgers can throw at any angle. His release over the top, side, it's just unbelievable. Let's get to a couple of the defensively, just how their guys ran were just unbelievable. Get into some of the clips here that I want to get to. There we go. Again, here's that run game, that inside zone power game that those 3 backs just led the way with. Off the outside zone, play action, which the Packers, and especially in the cold weather, they do it so well. Look at the running from the Packers on this, set everything up, and they're balanced there with run and pass, option pass right there. Just pick them apart. Let me just get to the touchdown here. quick action. This, by the way, play has become one of the number one plays that these NFL teams run. Get in the mix here. A couple more backbreakers. So, filled in half. You get the. All right, so here we are. They're coming out of the half. This was really where they started to put distance in this game. Coming out of the half, just running and pounding the football. I mean, the impact that their three running backs had just was unreal. There's a little that inside zone swing pass combinations, drive the field, and they just kind of pound it right in there. And they pulled away from there. It was the same kind of game all game long, where they had a lot of pressure on them. They drove the field to dominate them. The passes he completes in tight situation, and that's just unbelievable play. I mean, that play just typifies what Aaron Rodgers can do under pressure. Just unbelievable impact. Run the ball, and they really finished him out on that drive. Interference. All right, so we'll go back here. It's only thing I don't like how I have to kind of go back and forth, but so that was the impact, of that game. So now let's go to the second game of the Saturday games. So the second game was one I was really looking forward to, but I think Lamar Jackson got knocked out of the game. That was a big issue. The Bills winning 17-3, and I just think the Bills overall had a huge impact in.
I'm talking to Joe.
Had a huge impact. Josh Allen had a monster, not a monster game from a yard standpoint, but how he controlled the game and made big plays. And the two receivers, Stephon Diggs is just a continuing star for the Bills. And then John Brown, they combined for 16 catches, 168 yards. He spread the football around a little bit, but really getting the ball to John Brown, Stephon Diggs is the two main guys on the day. The impact was just unbelievable. So you can't cover Stephon Diggs. The run game was, not really existent there. I guess they had it when they needed, but the combination of Tremaine Edmonds, Matt Milano, and Micah Hyde, and then of course the huge play from Teron Johnson. The 101-yard return for a touchdown was the play that broke their back. And if you didn't see it, we'll pull that clip up here. That was basically the end of it all for the Ravens after that. But what do I see? The Bills now having an opportunity to go against the Chiefs. I think that's the game that everybody's looking to get. Everybody's looking to get is that game. Two young star quarterbacks. Obviously, one's already a superstar. The other one's on the rise. And that impact of that game. I mean, I think, obviously, unless you're fans of those other teams, these are the games that everybody was looking for. And here was the pick six that broke the back from Lamar Jackson to Teron Johnson. By the way, FCS player, played at Weber State, only had one Division I offer, ends up becoming an NFL player. And the impact he made than that play right there. That was the backbreaker because they just couldn't do the job. And that was it there. That was the game changer in that game. And so we get to see the Bills. Okay, the Bills against
Buffalo Bills?
yes, the Buffalo Bills. We get to see the Buffalo Bills against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. The Chiefs going to the first game of Sunday. The Chiefs and their impact in a game that a lot of people didn't expect to be as close as it was. The Chiefs winning 22-17. Patrick Mahomes being knocked out of that game, now saying that Patrick Mahomes will not be back for the next game. But Chad Henne going in and essentially taking charge, going 6 for 8, winning the game, and throwing his body around, having a huge impact. Having a huge impact and on the team that is just mind blowing. Yes, all right. Come on, man. I'm trying to do the pocket. Just mind blowing how they had. And then, so we got that impact there from how do we get? Oh, we lost my football in the kitchen sink here. All right, we're talking. I got the wrong thing up here. So lost my train of thought here because I'm getting a lot of distractions, drive me absolutely crazy. I'm really pissed off. I mean, I can't believe that I can't get any peace or any help around here at all. All right. Well, I'm trying to break down the Kansas City Chiefs, but I've been just hugely distracted and driving me nuts. Anyway, Baker Mayfield played, I thought, a fantastic game. Nick Chubb ran the ball unbelievably well for the Browns. Kareem Hunt, I thought, ran the ball pretty well. But Baker Mayfield played a fantastic game, keeping around. Mahomes obviously was playing very well. They had a hard time getting in and scoring, from the red zone for a long time, which is why you see the score so low. A lot of field goals had to be made by the Kansas City Chiefs. I think their kicker was 3 for 4 in a day with field goals. And although he missed one that gave the Browns a chance, Browns had a huge chance at the end of the half when they had a touchback when they're reaching for the goal for the pylon when the ball went out of the back of the end zone. So the bottom line was Patrick Mahomes, 21 of 30 for 255 yards and 1 touchdown. Chad Henne comes in 6 for 8 for 66 yards. Rushing, he was 13 for 78, and Patrick Mahomes was 3 for 14. Chad Henne ran 2 for 12 on that big run. Just missed getting the first down, but then they had to play the game with the pass to Tyreek Hill. Here's what the amazing stat was. Between Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Mecole Hardman, they had 20 catches on them. Add Darrell Williams in the mix, they had 24 catches. Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce looked basically unstoppable every single game. And they continue that aspect. I don't know how a team is going to be able to scheme to stop the backfield that they have, the passing game, and then Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. I just don't know how they can scheme to do it. They're gonna have a better opportunity, but the way Chad Henley played, I mean, he's 35 years old himself. The way he played in that game coming off the bench, I think they're probably in pretty good hands. That's why you pick up a guy like Chad Henne, and that's the genius to Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy having the guts to make those calls. Let's see if we can pull it up at the end of the game here. All right, here we go. Okay. So this was the end sequence. So 22-17, they had to get a first down, okay, to be able to have a chance here. Okay. They get the one, but then they got to get themselves in another first down situation. Here they are, third down and long. Chad Henne with an unbelievable run, diving, giving up his body to give them a chance here. This play right here, this is 4th and 1, so a 4th and inches. Every single pundit calling this game is thinking that they're just trying to drop them offside so they can punt. Not Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid. Throws the ball to Tyreek Hill, gets the first down. That's the game. Okay, there's a lot of highlights from this game that were fantastic, but though I had to show the end of the game because it shows how resilient the Chiefs are. They believe in what they're doing, their system. Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, and staff from special teams and defensive coordinator, they to offense. They just have a dominant mindset, an abundance mindset, a mindset that it can't be stopped. So this game with them going against the Bills, with the upstart Josh McDermott as head coach, going against Andy Reid, gritty situation for the Bills winning. The Chiefs did not have an easy game. They really had a battle to win that game. That was a game that many times you thought the Chiefs had a chance to put them away. They could not put them away. So are the Chiefs as good as they were last year? I'm not sure, but I can tell you this. They have some skill players in Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill that can do things that not too many other teams have. And I think Travis Kelce has replaced the Gronk as the top tight end in the NFL, and Tyreek Hill is the top how should I say? I mean, I wouldn't say receiver. He's obviously a great receiver, but top threat in the NFL. And then they're going to play against the Bills, who have the other top threat, which is Stephon Diggs. So amazing matchup. Let's go to the final game of the day, which I just thought was pretty incredible. And then we have some news that dropped today that are pretty interesting stuff. But so the final game, the pit the two old guys, the Saints with Drew Brees, who was probably playing if he lost in his last game, versus Tom Brady at 43 years old, 42 versus 43. The Saints had 4 losses on the year, and the Bucs had 5, and the Saints had beaten them previously 2 times. It's tough to beat a team 3 times in the NFL. Very, very tough. Tom Brady had one of those gritty performances. It wasn't great, but combined with their run game and no interceptions and not turning the ball over, ultimately that was the difference because the Saints turned the ball over 4 times. I'll show a little bit of that stuff in a second. But they used the back, Leonard Fournette out of the backfield. He got the ball spread around to his receivers. He had big catches from guys who don't normally touch the ball. Gronk had a big catch, his only catch. Antonio Brown was a little bit beat up, had a minimal impact in this game. Mike Evans had the touchdown catch, which was his only catch. Scotty Miller had a big catch. Tyler Johnson had a big catch. Chris Godwin had 4 catches. Fournette had 5, and Cameron Brate had 4 as tight end. Leonard Fournette, 17 rushes for 63. Ronald Jones, the second, 13 rushes for 62. That combination was difficult. I love the way Ronald Jones runs. He sees the holes. He's so explosive. On the Saints side, 3 picks for Drew Brees, a struggle performance, 19 of 34. The touchdown pass they had besides Drew Brees' touchdown was when Jameis Winston came in a little trickeration for a touchdown. Alvin Kamara had another Alvin Kamara type performance, 18 carries for 85 yards. Emmanuel Sanders had 6 catches. Jared Cook had 5 catches. Traquan Smith, 2 gigantic catches, both for they had 3 catches, but 2 of them were for touchdowns. And Alvin Kamara had 3 catches. A lot of completions, a lot of throwing, but not many yards, and that was the problem. Lots of turnovers, and then performance defensively. Saints defense played well. Between their stars, Malcolm Jenkins, Demario Davis, and Alex Anzalone played well, but the Buccaneers were opportunistic, unbelievably opportunistic, and they have a budding star at linebacker in Devin White. I believe it was out of LSU, 11 tackles total. 10 tackles. I'm sorry. 10 tackles, 1 assist, interception. He had a fumble recovery. He was all over the field. Mike Edwards had an interception. Sean Bunting had an interception. They were stripping the ball out of the receivers' hands from the Saints. Let's take a quick look and start watching a little bit of this stuff. This was a heck of a performance by the defense of the Buccaneers.
This is downfield and off the hands and incomplete. And over end, Deontay 20, no flags on the field. Ram 23, ready. The line of scrimmage. Toss to Kamara.
Kamara ran hard. Let's just show you some quick clips as we get to him here. Brees just could not get it going. After being up 6-0, the Bucs just came right back. There's Cameron Brady, who had a bunch of catches. Kamara, typical run. This was the first pick that really ended up at the 1-yard line. They punched it in right after that.
It's Murphy bunting down the sideline. He is 3. From the 3, Brady.
That's the 1 catch from Mike Evans. Had a huge impact on that play. That was a big play there, giving them the lead, which the Saints struggled once they were behind. The passing game was not. Okay, so here was the big play with Jameis Winston. The 1 play he was in the game. Please. There it is. Yellow chase Kamara.
Big plays late for Kansas City. This one's aired out. Brees finds his man. Completes. Here's one for Kamara. 3rd down and 7. Underneath, pass is caught.
They use Leonard Fournette all day long. Here he is again. Huge impact.
Here is Fournette.
Pounded the ball.
Brady dropped the snap. Down to the sideline, and somehow end zone. Godwin, he's got it. Here, Brady cannot take a sack.
You're all over me. I can't think. Joy. You're all.
And essentially, it's right there for us. Go out, get an early score, and win this game.
Montgomery tries the left side, out bends to the 35.
What a find by Mickey Loomis and Jeff Ireland in the third round.
Another drive here.
Saints have run it 6 straight times.
This was the not
End zone, Smith spinning, and they got it for the touchdown. And
so Smith's second touchdown.
Bucks' longest play is 16 yards from scrimmage. Antonio Brown on the sideline. He's been out there during.
Brady was poised all day.
They're down and 8. Brees airs it out, and this one is down and 8. Flag.
Grabbing the jersey.
They're down and 2. Quick throw.
This was a game changer. Fumble, scoop by Devin White. Big return. The Saints were up at this point 20-13. It made all the difference. That was the game changer. They came right down the field, put together an opportunity to score. Even though the Saints played well on defense, inside Ronald Jones was just an absolute beast running the ball. And, once Brady gets down there, he's going to score. Fournette did an excellent job in the receiving game. Game was tied, but you never really felt that the Saints had they just didn't have it today in yesterday. And Drew Brees just didn't seem to be on point. Brady drives him down. That was an unbelievable catch there by Johnson. Unbelievable turn. Unbelievable. And those are the things that kept happening over and over again. One catch here, okay, to Scotty Miller, his only catch. And then Jones, who just, the way he runs, I mean, there's not this. The field goal then puts him up by 3. And Brees had many opportunities, but he just didn't seem like he was on the same page. This was the killer. The interception by Devin White, which just, and then this was Gronk's only catch of the game. Brady takes it in on the QB sneak. And then again, there's a pick later on. And that was it. That was all she wrote. 30-20 for the Buccaneers. Look, Brady played another Brady game, and he's going to need that again going up to Green Bay. And being up at Green Bay, having a chance to take on them in that cold, it's just like him returning to his old New England weather. So he was saying his blood's getting a little thin being down there in Florida, but I'm sure he'll get it right for this situation. That's going to be an unbelievable game. I think, the Packers' ability on offense because of Aaron Rodgers is going to be difficult to beat. But I actually think both these games are going to be tight games. It's going to be something that is going to be close. I mean, I don't know that the weapons that the Buccaneers have, so many of them, if they're all on point, are going to be able to be stopped for one single game. Will they start to wear down as we go on? They do have some guys that are a little bit older, but they have a combination of a lot of young guys with older guys. And then the Buccaneers defense led by Devin White, who is an MVP-like defensive player. I mean, when he picks up the ball on an interception or a fumble, I mean, he's a threat taking it back. He's so physical. So you have a situation where you have two fantastic teams that everybody, unless you were rooting for your own team there, the 4 teams that people would hope maybe would make it. You got the Bills and the Bills Mafia getting there. You got the Chiefs versus the Chiefs. You got the Packers versus Brady and the Bucks. I mean, you can't beat it. This is what makes the NFL such an unbelievable sport. What makes football such an unbelievable sport. There are plays that happen in so many of these games that are so exciting that you cannot even come close to comprehend any other sport having that kind of excitement in a game. And then there was such a cool moment. I want to try and see if I can find that again. Brady. Let's see here, Brees. I thought this was cool. I mean, I don't know how they capture this stuff, how they found it, but game's over now. Most likely, Drew Brees, or this is what the press is saying, that this is his last game. Press saying this is his last game. Sorry, a little quick technical difficulty. I went to share a screen and I clicked something else. So Brady and Brees share a little quick moment at the end there. Brady's there and talking to Brees and wishing him best of luck when Brees was there with his family, getting some family time at the end of the game, and Brady throws a pass to Brees. I mean, when you talk about football and the impact of football, I mean, this is what it does. This is what it brings together. It not just brings together great athletes, but it brings together families, people that you compete against, can become lifelong friends. That's something that you'll never get in any other sport, in my opinion. And I played a lot of great sports, and there are a lot of great sports out there. But football takes the cake and is unique from that aspect. There's no sport that has that kind of impact on a daily basis that football does, where you have two competitors that just fought their hearts out. One who's on his way to retiring, where the other one takes the time to come over and say hello and talk to him after and throw a pass to his kid. I mean, you can't beat that. What a great moment seeing those two Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Fame quarterbacks embracing at the end of the game. On a different note, which it's not really a shocker, and so that's the playoffs. Next week's going to be unbelievable. I mean, I can't wait. Let's go to a couple things, before I wrap it up for today. And I'll tell you what's really interesting. I was surprised that Tennessee, not that they ended up parting with Jeremy Pruitt, but doing it at this juncture, mainly because they didn't have time after the season to do it. And I guess they just, after all was said and done, they decided to move on. But he did have a good amount of time to be able to build a program. Never quite got there. Last year they were close. This year they struggled. 4 or 5 years in, and they decided to move on. Tennessee has to really think about what they want their brand to be going forward, because that is a place that, Knoxville, Tennessee, and the state of Tennessee, that people are moving to. It's one of the places that, people want to be at. And so what that means is that the University of Tennessee, which obviously at one time had one of the better programs in the SEC, now firing Jeremy Pruitt, they have to start all over again. And what do they look for? I mean, I'm curious if there's any rumors about who they're looking at, who they're looking to bring on. But Jeremy, for cause after internal investigation, just let me kind of, he was fired after an investigation showed evidence of multiple level 1 and level 2 NCAA recruiting violations under his watch, according to termination letter. Cites 6 fire for cause provisions. As for fire for cause, as a fire for cause, the university will not pay his $12.6 million buyout. My guess is expect Jeremy Pruitt to sue for that. He's not going away with that so easily. Pruitt lasted just 3 seasons, leaves behind a program that remains under investigation. Additionally, athletics director Phil Fulmer, who was brought in to try to revise UT's football program as the AD, will retire after UT hires an AD to replace him. So Fulmer wants his successor to choose the next football coach. Fulmer made the decision to step down. His departure is not tied to the investigation. That is really crazy breaking news over there in Tennessee with Jeremy Pruitt being fired because of an NCAA investigation, and Philip Fulmer, who did have the program, the last coach to win a national championship there and bring them to prominence. My instinct, at one time, like when they hired Jeremy Pruitt, I was a big proponent of saying, and I know that he fell a little bit on good graces because I guess, at USC it wasn't going as well, but I thought that T. Martin, who is a great recruiter and was the quarterback on the national championship team for Tennessee, would be a great person to lead the Tennessee program. Why doesn't Tennessee look to T. Martin? I don't understand what it is that stopped them the first time. But they have to figure out a way to jumpstart that program. It's a long tradition program, University of Tennessee. It's a great area. People want to go to school there. Players will want to go to school there. They have to retool that program and bring it into the 21st century. And I don't know who they're looking at, but to me, this was a few years ago, but and I haven't heard much about him since then. But I just, what is Tennessee going to do? Who are they going to bring in? Who's the guy that can have a huge impact? Where's T. Martin with Pruitt? He was with Pruitt. See, I don't know. He was with him. I mean, he joined him in 2019. I don't know. Are they going to promote T. Martin? Should they promote T. Martin? I'm curious what people think about that, because a few years ago you would have said that would have been a really likely candidate, but they had a little bit of struggle at USC, and then he joined them in the latter stages, and things have not gone as well. I'm pretty sure, I'm just trying to get this updated information. I don't think he was one of the guys fired initially, so I don't know. Let's see, who are the other two assistants that were let go? And Bruce Feldman is reporting 9 other Vols staffers were reported fired. So this is a problem. I mean, Tennessee was cheating and couldn't get guys in there. Who were the 9 guys that they let go? Every article you got to go and get sources tell Athletic that Vols legend Peyton Manning will have a big role in the search process. Huh? And who will be? Well, that's the right guy to bring in. Maybe they should bring in Peyton Manning. I mean, he'll put together the staff. So here's my question. Does David Cutcliffe become a candidate? The Duke coach, who Peyton Manning was Peyton Manning's offensive coordinator when he was at Tennessee. Does David Cutcliffe, who's done a great job at Duke, does he become a candidate for head coach there? I wonder. Is T. Martin a viable candidate anymore for head coach? Is one of the Clemson assistants a viable candidate for head coach? This is a situation where Tennessee has to get this right. They've got to bring in, and they've got to make sure they make an impact here, because if they have another bad hire that doesn't work out the way they want to, recruiting-wise, they could end up being towards the bottom. Somehow they've been able to recruit really well, but they just haven't been able to put it together. They've got to step their recruiting up. So that's the breaking news right there. That's all I have today. Obviously, the NFL playoffs was the majority of everything. And we'll see you soon on the Football and the Kitchen Sink podcast. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you real soon.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Football and the Kitchen Sink with Coach Schuman and Coach DePascali. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. If you like what you heard, leave us a review and be sure to tell a friend. We will meet you back here next time on Football and the Kitchen Sink.